What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I'm here for another episode following the career of GM Neff over on NHL 25. We are the defending Stanley Cup champions with the Boston Bruins, and that's right, the rebuild or the dynasty has just begun. Not the rebuild. The rebuild's not over, but the dynasty has just begun. We still got people coming up, and we still got a lot of Stanley Cups to win. We're gonna jump right into the draft. As you can see, the draft lottery results: Utah goes from 5 to 1, Carolina drops to number 2, San Jose 3, Philadelphia 4, New York Islanders 5, Tampa at 6, Washington at 7, Winnipeg at 8, Anaheim at 9, and Calgary at 10. And then you can see the rest of the draft there. And we are excited. We get a lot of decisions to make. Who's gonna stick with the Stanley Cup team? Who are we gonna draft to help out this team? As we sim all the way to the draft, we're gonna jump right into it. No interviews. View some retired players. So let's take a look at that. Sidney Crosby calls it a career. Finishes with 1,557 games played, 689 goals, 1,122 assists for 1,811 points. Jamie Benn also calls it a career with 1,060 points. Erik Karlsson calls it a career. Chris Letang, who is actually just on our team, just got his Stanley Cup. I forgot all about Chris Letang coming aboard and getting a Stanley Cup to end his season. I wonder how many he finished with. So Chris Letang finished with 4 Stanley Cups and 1 Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. Well, that's a good career from Chris Letang. Do we have anybody else from the Bruins specifically? Before we wrap it up, Torrey Krug calls it a career, ex-Bruin. I think Chris Letang's going to be the only Bruin that we're going to see retire here. So with that being said, before we jump into draft, if we can, I want to take a look at the record book. No, we're not gonna edit the trade and block. Actually, you know what, let's edit the trade and block. I wasn't for a second, but we want to, because we got a couple of guys that are going to be RFAs here in a second. I forgot who exactly going to be a RFA that we're going to leave. Kuznetsov and not Patriots. It's Kuznetsov and Maverick Bork. Both played really well this season. And you know, we did the whole player efficiency. Both played really well. So I think I'm going to keep them off, and we're going to just let the sim continue. And before we jump into the draft, let me take a look at the record book. So taking a look at the record book, you can see Patrick Marleau leading with player games played with 1,779. You got Alex Ovechkin up there with 1,738 in the top 5. Marc-Andre Fleury has 1,047 games played as a goalie. You also got Alex Ovechkin with the most goals. He in the sim finishes with 955. Nobody else new on that top 5 list. Top 5 in points, you got Sidney Crosby, breaking it into that top 5 at 1,811, just beyond Gordie Howe. Assists, you don't got anybody new in that top 5. When it comes to wins, Marc-Andre Fleury in that top 5, number 2 overall. You got Sergei Bobrovsky in the top 5 at number 4. Shutout, you got nobody new in the shutout list. 50 goal seasons. Alex Ovechkin with a 9, tied for first with Mike Bossy and Wayne Gretzky. So nobody else in that list that's new besides Alex Ovechkin. Most 100-point seasons, as you could see, nobody new in that list. And those were some of the NHL stats. I wonder if there's any season record breaks. So when it comes to the season, well, that doesn't make sense. Player games played, only 79 wouldn't make sense. Most goals, we get nobody in that top 5. Most assists, we get nobody. Most points, which we have pretty low point totals, so I doubt we'll ever see somebody there. Nobody new on any of these. When it comes to rookie seasons, still, it doesn't look like any new records or top 5 in that list. So I just wanted to take a look at some of that, you know, some of the new record holders or guys that finished in the top 5. When you got somebody like Sidney Crosby retiring, you always want to check on that. But jumping back to the draft. So here is the NHL draft, and taking a look at the draft class, the #1 player right now ranked by the Central Scouts. I forgot what the CS rank and previous CS rank. I forgot what the CS rank stands for. I think Central Scouting rank. You got Ken Culp, a center, 18-year-old. He had a lot of points. He had 91 points in 68 games, but that was in the USHL. You have Sergei Korolyuk, who was playing in the KHL. He had 18 points in 55 games. You got Torsten Backman, who had 22 points in 51 games playing in probably the SHL. Yes, SHL. You got Kimo Karolati. He played in the SHL. He had 17 points as well. So you got some forwards in that top 5. We'll see who ends up going #1. We take it a look, probably need to get a goaltender in the system. I think that will be the next you know, position to really focus on, as Culp goes 1 overall. #2 is Korolyuk. #3 you're gonna have Backman. #4 you're gonna have Karolati, and then #5 you're gonna have Simic, the defenseman that was a top 5 rank. So one of the top 5 rank guys are gonna fall out of that top 5, and that was Simic was actually #5. We didn't even go to #5. We only showed the top 4. It looks like the Tampa Bay Lightning are trying to trade the 7th overall pick. So let's do our due diligence. We have no reason to go out for the 7th overall pick, but let's take a look to see what they want. Open block trade, nothing, and no trades at all for this pick, for at least for us. So we'll go ahead and sim until our pick. We're not too worried about getting a high draft pick. #32, because as a Stanley Cup champion, that's what happens. So taking a look at some of our choices, let's see what the scout is recommending here. So we got 3 recommended. We got Gavin DeAugustine, who's a 5'11" left wing. You got a Pierre Peterson, a 6-foot left wing, Swedish left wing. You got Jacques Gauthier, a 6'2" left-handed defenseman. But that's pretty low on the list. You do have Buckley here, who's 5'10", 171, and showing medium elite, but that's obviously not what a full scouting. Only 1 bar on that. We have Sergei Grabeshkov, who in the KHL had 7 points and was a +7 only in 43 games. You got Radek Rosa, who had 2 points and a +13 in the looks like Extra Liga. Is that what it is? Yeah, Extra Liga. You got Clem, a center. I don't know how badly we need a center. You got a 6'5" center. You got Staples, who's a 6'2" American center. I feel like we don't usually go after American players. Then you got Des Biens, a 6'2" Canadian center, who had 28 points, C- competition. What did Staples have? Staples had a pretty good season, 44 points in 61 games, playing in the OHL. Not too bad. We had Bieksa. See what he had. He had a 52% face-off percentage. You kind of got to make our decision though here quick. Let's go with Staples. He could play center, he could play right wing. So I think that would be a good pick for us. Let's sim to our next pick. Let's see if we could find a trade for it. We're all for trading out if we can. I think we just take our pick. There's nothing there. We got a future second that would have made it worth it, but really not worth it at this point. Nothing really. You could go with Simon Marchand, the 6'2" Marchand, just because his name's Marchand. We could go with him. But I think there's a better pick out there. You got the 6'4" Marco Wertinen. We do need some left wings, I would say, in the system. So let's go with Werner. Sim into our next pick. Probably not going to trade any picks away. Probably going to just make all our picks in this one. You got McBain, and then you also got Tyrell, a left defenseman we're not really interested in. You got Karl Dolak, who's a German, and I'm always intrigued by the German prospects, if I'm being quite honest. So let's actually go with the German right winger in Dolak. 6'2" German right winger. Let's go ahead with him. Sim to our next pick. So taking a look at this pick, see what we got for options. Hornqvist, a right winger, 6'3", Mikkelsen, a 6'4", 17-year-old. You got Kuznetsov, a left defenseman. You got Olsen, who's a right defenseman. And I do think we need some right defensemen in the system. We haven't hit on any good ones though. Alfredson. What does Alfredson look like? 6'2", 204, and a really good season in a A+ league. Let's go with Alfredson. Feel good about that pick. So Alfredson is that pick, and now our 6th round pick. Take a look at what we got. We got a C in Altonen, 17-year-old. You got a Russian in Jakimovs. I think we're gonna go with the 6'1" Russian center here. Really crapshoots this late in the draft. Maybe you hit on something good, maybe you don't. I wonder if we got any gems from our scouts. No. 5 years ETA. Let's go with Alos. He's a left-hander. He's on the left side for wing. Fits what we need, and that completes the NHL entry draft. So Staples was our first pick. Then we had Werner, Dolak, Alfredson, Jekimovs, and then Alas as our full picks. Now it's time to think about re-signs and free agency. And before we do that, I want to take a look at some of the player efficiency ratings for some of the guys we have to re-sign before we re-sign them, because I think that is also going to be something that's important when it comes to re-signing some of these guys. You know, taking a look at how efficient they've been as we re-sign this assistant coach, because we did really good. We're not going to fire any coaches. We're going to re-sign whoever we can. Hopefully he comes back because it was a good team. But let's jump over to the efficiency rating so we can take a look at, you know, out of these guys that we have to re-sign, and specifically in the NHL, who was the best? And even in the AHL, we'll take a look at who performed the best. So looking at free agency, or our re-signs, I should say, Kuznetsov needs a contract, and he was our best player, hands down. So to qualify him, we need a $3.55 million contract. We do have $24 million in cap space, but we also got to take a look at what our lines are going to look like as well, based on who we have signed right now. Where does Kuznetsov fit? We still have Ehlers. Kuznetsov could actually go up to that first line left wing position if we want, or we could keep Ehlers. So that being said, let's see what exactly Kuznetsov wants, because he was by far our best player. So let's offer him a contract. He wants $6.125 million. 5.150. I think that's a good number for 3 years. Definitely deserves it. So let's offer that contract. He'll get back to me tonight on that offer. The next one to look at is Maverick Bourque, and you could see here, Maverick Bourque is actually number 2, right behind him in total player efficiency rating. He was good defensively, he was good offensively, but the only thing with Maverick Bourque that's a little bit different, or that we got to keep in mind, is that Maverick Bourque plays right wing, and in the system right now, so you got Walensky, who's a low elite, 80 overall, 21-year-old. So he could potentially fill in on that third line right wing. So what we could do is see if we could trade Maverick Bourque, or we're not going to put him at center, honestly, because we got Dean Letourneau, we got Fraser Mitten, who could now play left wing. So that third line's still going to be Letourneau, Mitten, and it would be Bourque. So we could move Bork. And how much does he want for a contract? So offering him a contract, he wants 4.9 million. So we could move him, shop him around, and take a look. We'll circle back to him when we're ready. Other than that, John Beecher needs one. Beachy was a okay person in the top 10 with 37.18. He had a 43.77 offensive efficiency rating and defensive efficiency rating of 30.59. So that was a okay season from him. So right now we're on the fence on him. Paul Mary, we're definitely not re-signing. We're going to release him. Not interested in bringing him back. We are not interested in bringing Jensen back. He was actually terrible for us in efficiency, and I could show you Paul Mary was down here, and the main reason we're not bringing him back, he had good offense, but the defense was terrible. We need defense on that bottom line, so we're not going to bring him back. And Jensen, only 9 on offense, 48 on defense, and it's okay, but he was our worst overall player in the efficiency rating for overall player efficiency. So absolute terrible, especially when you're dropping below a 10 on the offense. You could be like Vilchinski, who has a 67 defensive efficiency rating, and really hindered by that offense. You'll be okay with that, but definitely not okay. As I actually went back there, definitely not okay with both of those being bad at that point. So we're gonna let Jensen go. We do have Merkulov, and taking a look at the AHL player stats, Merkulov actually rated with a sort by player efficiency rating. Merkulov was in the top 5. So what does Merkulov want? Because he's been a pretty good option in the AHL. He wants 0.925 for 1 year and a 2-way contract. I'm gonna offer that easy. So we'll see if he actually takes it, but he's okay with that offer. Now we got to offer Elton Hermanson. This is our draft pick from, I believe, 3 seasons ago. Our top draft pick. He obviously is going to get an entry-level deal. He's aboard. He could probably start in the AHL at 80 overall, but definitely going to look to potentially move him or keep him or move somebody up so he could play in the NHL. You got Edstrom here. Edstrom was actually pretty good. He was in the top 5 for player efficiency rating, but let's bring him back. He would be perfect as like a 13th forward, and he only wants 1.65 million for 2 years, and we could probably bring that down. So let's see what we could do with the total amount. All right, that brings it down way too much. We're not going to add any clauses. We don't add any clauses unless we know the player is top tier. So let's go 1.5 for 2 years for a 4th line type of guy. I think that's a good number. You got Walensky, who we already re-signed, or we already have under contract. You got Poulin, the AHL guy. He was our best player in overall efficiency. Let's see what he wants for a 2-way contract for 2 years. Absolutely, we'll bring him back. Performed well in the AHL. We got to also keep an eye on the contracts, and we're at 46 of 50. We got Denisenko. Denisenko was actually middling. He wasn't great. Pretty decent offense, not great. Was his offense actually good enough to be in the top 6? Let's take a look at that. So he was actually number 6 exactly. So I don't know if I want to bring back Denisenko yet. We're gonna hold off on that. You got Yankruk, who played in the NHL as a extra forward. In his minimal time, he was very bad at defense. He was okay at offense. We're gonna sit on that and not offer a trade. Taking a look at Harrison, he was in the AHL. He was actually, where was Harrison? Harrison. Right below Denisenko. He played more of a 2-way role. He had 28 defense and 45 offense for a 36.61. He is 25. Would it be worth bringing him back? Is he a 2-way forward? Yeah, he's a 2-way forward. Let's see how much he wants for a negotiation. We could get him for 880 if we qualify him. He wants 900. Let's bring it down to 875 for 1 year. He'll get back to us tonight. You got Sam Robertson, or is it Sam Robinson? Samuel? Simone Robertson. Simone Robertson as a right wing was pretty decent, a 40. He was above Denisenko and Harrison. Would definitely fit into that bottom 6 in the AHL. He has a top 9 medium potential. He's 25, so he's still growing. Let's go ahead and offer him a contract. 2 years, $800K. We'll definitely take that. You got Hunt, and Hunt was a 7th defenseman in the NHL. Didn't really play much. Played like maybe a handful of games. He's a top 6 medium. He could definitely go in the AHL this season, because we're gonna call up Sasha Boumadine. So we'll have that option, but we'll circle back to him. Who doesn't want an extension? I haven't really been paying attention. I think everybody we've re-signed wanted an extension. You have Rogowski, who needs a contract. He needs his entry-level deal. Let's go ahead and bring him aboard. That's obviously going to change some things with who we're going to bring back. Do we have any other UFAs? So we got a top 6D in Sedin, who needs a contract. So let's bring him in. He's a top 6, so that's a pretty good rating. We get a top 6 low in Singh, but I want to take a look at the defense and where we're at there before we bring him in. So for defensemen, taking a look at our potential lines, we have McAvoy, Lindholm, Middleton, and Vilchinski. We are going to move Middleton or Lindholm. Lindholm was the worst out of the 3. We'll probably move Lindholm. We got Vilchinski and Boumadine. We also got Brunet, who could kind of play that 7th defenseman if we call him up. You got Warner at right D, so he's the first right D that appears on this list. So we're going to need to make an improvement at right D. Maybe even look at trades. We got Hunt, who we might bring back. So Warner would be in the AHL, most likely. Or actually, he'd be the 7th D in the NHL. Brunet would be in the AHL. Hunt would be in the AHL. So that's 2, 3... if we resign Hunt and Masters. Masters is a right-handed defenseman, and we're sure on those. So we got Dingle, we got Brunet for left-handed defenseman. We're probably not going to bring back Hunt, that being said. Probably let Hunt walk at this point. There's no reason to bring him back, so let's release him. For right-handed defenseman, we got Bobrovsky, we got Sundin, who we want to play. We got Pohl here, but he's got time before he even needs to be signed. He's an AHL top 2 D high. We got Brizgalov, who didn't play enough. We would like him to play a little bit more. So we're going to actually let go of Masters as well, I think. He's a right-handed defenseman. Singh could get signed. Is he worth it, though? A top 6 low defenseman in a room full of defensemen. We are low on right-handed defensemen, so let's go ahead and offer him a contract. So he signed. That does bring up our number to 48. Jan Kruk, we're not going to re-sign. We'll let him go. Take a look at other options that we have. Maverick Bork, we're going to try to trade during free agency. Goalies, we do have Bussy that needs a contract, and Skarek. Probably only going to bring back one of them. Probably Skarek. 875 for 2 years. We'll bring him back. We need one goalie there. For centers, we still got to decide on Beecher. I might just let Beecher walk, honestly. We got to kill Thomas. He doesn't really fit the bottom 6 role. So, you know, we got to look for a better bottom 6 defenseman. We could bring Brett Harrison up to kind of play the 4th line center role, which would be good. We could also look at Patrick Thomas, who's 23 years of age. We got Bendar, who's a 59 overall, but he's a bottom 6 potential medium. I don't think it's worth even signing him, to be honest. At 59, you're not even in the 60s yet. Definitely not worth signing him. So we'll let him go, actually. So we got Thomas. Who's our centers right now? Kusnadinov will play left wing. We got Lindholm and Zaka playing center. We got Patras playing right wing. We got Letourneau playing 3rd line. We got Mitten playing left wing. Beecher was the 4th line center. We could make Harrison, that fourth line center. I think his two-way game would fit. How much does Beecher? See what Beecher wants. He wants 2.375, and we have 24 mil in cap space. We're gonna sim at least a day or two before we decide on Beecher. Left wingers, we already offered Merkulov and Edstrom. Edstrom's going to the end. Merkulov's going to be a first-line left wing on that AHL team. We got Denisenko and Milne here. Do we have anybody else coming in as a prospect? We do have Moran, but again, a 59 overall bottom six type of guy. He is only 19, so he's got some time to grow. Chase Peterson or Pedersen. Two-way forward, 60 overall, 20 years of age, so one overall higher. AHL top six forward, so probably that low 70s range. It might not even be worth it to bring him back. The center, Thomas, actually had a good score. He was actually in that top six range, so let's go ahead and bring him back. I would assume he would want a two-way deal. Yep, 800K for 2 years, two-way. We'll take that. That's definitely a solid offer. So he comes back immediately. Still waiting on Brett Harrison. I think that solidifies our center position. Taking a look at the left wingers. Again, we got two offers out there. We got to decide on Milne and Denisenko. I think we should wait for now. Bork, we're going to wait on. We're probably going to trade him in free agency. And then no defenseman. So with that being said, it's time to jump ahead. We took a look at some of the efficiency stats to kind of get an idea of what we're doing. Now we got to jump ahead and get some guys re-signed, and then also put our lines together. NHL lines, offense and defense, and then our AHL lines, offense and defense, and see where we're at. So after one day, we're not getting the coach back. Oh, actually, no, we are. He wasn't thrilled with the offer, but he's coming back, so that's good. We do get Kusnedinov back. We get Edstrom back. We also get Harrison back. Merkulov comes back. So we got a bunch of guys re-signed right now. That knocks our cap down to 19.33 mil. So let's take a look at what the lines are going to look like. So after one day of simming and all the re-signs that we have, right now the offensive lines for the NHL are looking like this. Ehlers, Lindholm, Pastrnak, Kusnedinov. I should say Ehlers, Lindholm, Pastrnak as line 1. Line 2, Kusnedinov, Saka, and Patras. Line 3, Mitten, Letourneau, Walensky. We also have Edstrom, Harrison, and we don't know who the right wing is going to be. And also Harrison, we might go with a different center. Right now we do have enough cap space with 19.33 if we end up wanting to bring back somebody like Beecher. Bork, I forgot what he wanted. How much did he want again? He wanted 4.9, which is actually pretty damn cheap. That is pretty damn cheap. We might also look into trading Walensky and see if we can get something good for him, because he's also a low elite. But right now, that's what the NHL lines are looking like. The defensive lines, you got Volchinski, McAvoy as the first pair. Second pair, Lindholm in question mark. Middleton in question mark as a third pair. Take a look at the AHL offensive lines. You got Merkulov, Hermanson, and Robertson. We could make an improvement on Robertson. Poulin, Thomas, and Rolston. You got Thomas again. You got Kill Thomas as a center in the second line. Third line, you got Patrick Thomas, Rogowski, and Jekko. And then fourth line, you got Gentz, Boylard, and Lamb. And then the AHL defense is Brunet, Bobrovsky, Dingle, Sedin, Edward, and Brzgalov. So we got some question marks there. We also got a question mark at goalie when it comes to who's going to be the number 2 goalie. Right now we got Riddick, but you know, maybe we make a change there. But honestly, he went with a 923 and a 209 and 19 wins in, you know, 25 games played. So honestly, he's definitely worth keeping around, but we will need a start in NHL goalie, or a backup at AHL goalie, I should say, not NHL. But we have enough cap space. We could, with our top 6 solidified, we could go for a big splash at right-handed defenseman in free agency. So I think what we should do is go ahead and not offer on Beecher yet. See what we could get, what's in free agency before we offer on Beecher. Not offer on Denisenko. We're actually going to cut him now because we're for sure not offering on him. So release. So we're at 44 contracts. So we got enough space to go ahead and bring on another. No, we did not want to view the profile. We wanted to release Masters. So we got enough space with contracts. We could add 7 more contracts, and actually if we don't even offer on Pedersen, we could add another contract. He's AHL top 6 medium. If he was AHL top 6 high, then maybe we would think about, you know, bringing him in. But that is going to be the moves right now. So let's sim over to free agency and see what's out there and what kind of decisions we can make. So we got a star-studded free agency class. We got Brady Tkachuk, who's actually available, 28 years old, and he's actually somebody we would really want to get. Maybe we even try to move Ehlers as somebody to get Brady Tkachuk. Maybe see what's out there for a trade for him, and we could also save money by trading Maverick Bourque and having Walensky play. We could just save money in different ways and get Brady Tkachuk, but the main thing is getting a right defenseman. You have Simon Nemec here. He's one of the right defensemen. Let's go to, you got Trevor Zegras, Voronkov, you got Lowry, Brodin, Stamkos, Hoglander, Yossi, you got Brandon Rust. But let's go over to the right defenseman. So you got Nemec, Yossi, who's more of a left defenseman, Drew Doughty, Radish, Pietrangelo. You got Regula, Jensen, Rinzel, Stetcher, Kessel, Blankenberg, Van Riemsdyk, Gaudette, Crozier, Fabro, and we kind of took the stats for most of them, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 if you include Nick Jensen. We got 11 different defensemen that we broke down their defensive efficiency, their offensive efficiency, and then also the total player efficiency rating. So that being said, the top player out of all these players right now, based on how they performed, it was Alex Pietrangelo, who's 38 years old. So what we could do, he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He could kind of take the mold of Chris Letang and play that third pair defenseman. Let's see how much he wants in cap. 2.925, and what we could do is go no movement clause, so we'll increase his willingness to come over to the Bruins. We could bump that down to about 2.325. We could go 2.3 to be exact. So for 1 year, 2.3, I'm willing to give Alex Pietrangelo. We also got Trevor Van Riemsdyk, that was number 2. We had Alec Regula, but we also had Sam Rinzel. And Sam Rinzel is actually a restricted free agent that we're interested in. And what we could do is actually offer him, see if they end up matching, because we're willing to give up the draft pick to get him. We are definitely willing to give up the draft pick. So he wants 6.425 million. We could add a year. He wants 5 years, seems to be the best. We could add a modified no trade, or we could full no trade clause, full no movement, or just a modified no trade or no movement clause plus a modified no trade clause. Let's go with a modified no trade, full, or actually we could do reduced or full. Let's just do full, and then we'll bump that up a little bit to a 16 team trade, or a 12 team trade, and we could pay him a little bit. Let's see, we could get 6.55, and he's a right-handed defenseman for now and the future. Let's go ahead and offer this and see if we get matched. So we would have to give up a first and a third to get Rinzel if we ended up doing this. I wonder, can we, let's see what it takes to potentially trade for him. He's not on the trade block though. Well, let's do the offer sheet, because if he was on the trading block, then we go trade block, but he's not. We already checked. But let's just do the offer sheet. So boom, offer sheet. They'll get back to us. We'll see what happens there. And now let's take a look and let's see if we can make some trades to free up some cap space, and we could go after Matthew Tkachuk as well. So we already got a trade that we want to do right here. Hampus Lindholm for Timo Meier and a third and a fourth. And as you know, Hampus Lindholm is holding on to one of the left-handed defenseman spots. We could move him because we got Vilchinski and Middleton. So this is one trade that we have. And then we could also take a look and see what we could get for Middleton as well. Maybe keep Hampus Lindholm. But I think Middleton's not making as much. So we figured we're at the end of the day, we're saving about the same money if we trade Middleton. Based on the two trades we got for Hampus Lindholm, and Middleton was actually a little bit less efficient than Hampus Lindholm, so we could keep Hampus Lindholm, who had a 31.13, a 30.27 offensively, and a 31.99 defensively. Middleton was 30.05, 11.64 offense, and a 48.45 defense. So you do trade a little bit of a defensive guy for a offensive guy in Hampus Lindholm, and also an offensive guy in Sasha Boumadini. But you know, you get a little bit of a better efficiency overall from somebody like Hampus Lindholm, who I think had a down year and could probably have a better year coming up. Both are old and both are regressing. So let's go ahead and accept the Middleton trade. So Middleton is on the move. So now, and we also got Wallenius, who's a 6'4" left-handed defenseman, top 6 medium, that could potentially be a decent piece for us moving forward. So we were able to get a left defenseman back in that trade. So now that opens up some more cap space, and that would put us at a total cap space of 22.780. We got Matthew Tkachuk. He wants 11.4 million. We would probably have to go to like 12, maybe a little bit over 12, so that would bring us down to 10. And with the two contracts we have out there, we would be able to fit Brady Tkachuk into the salary cap without going after Maverick Bourque. But that also gives us a chance to trade Maverick Bourque. So let's go ahead and see if we could get Maverick Bourque off the books officially with a trade. I totally lied. We forgot to qualify Maverick Bourque, so he's actually a UFA. So we totally slipped up there. Got to qualify him. He's a UFA. But let's see where else we could save some money potentially. Nikolai Ehlers, but I don't know if we're able to move him. I don't think anybody wants Nikolai Ehlers. That will at least save us some money. We got him. We got Patras, who is actually pretty cheap. You could try to move Hampus Lindholm, but we just moved our left defenseman, so we kind of got to keep Hampus Lindholm. We don't want to totally hinder this team just to go out and get Brady Tkachuk. Elias Lindholm's making 7.75. You get 7.6 from Zaka as well. So let's see if we can make another move to free up a little bit more cap space, just to be sure we're able to get somebody like Matthew Tkachuk. So with no other trades really to make out there, we're just gonna try to offer him a contract and see if he comes aboard. We'll do 11. It's Brady Tkachuk, not Matthew Tkachuk, which is even better because Brady's a little bit younger. But let's do 11.75 for 6 years. Full no movement clause, because he is a good player and we're happy to have somebody like Brady Tkachuk. So let's do that. Bump it up a little bit. 11.75 for 6 years. Brady Tkachuk, will he come aboard? He'll get back to us in a few days. I would love to get him and Matthew Tkachuk both on a team. But since we tripped up on Maverick Bourque, it kind of ruined potential trades. But hopefully we get Brady Tkachuk. So let's advance a day with these 3 big contracts out there and see if we could get, you know, any of these guys. I have to reject your offer. I went with another offer that better meets my needs, and he goes to the Calgary Flames. Brady Tkachuk goes to the Calgary Flames. My oh my, what a coincidence. Alex Pietrangelo rejects our offer. The money you offered isn't enough. I have decided to accept your offer, but it's not a done deal yet. My previous team still has time to match your deal. So let's see if they match. We got Voronkov, who had 41 points in 82 games, a power forward, 6'5" power forward. We did miss out on Brady Tkachuk, so we're gonna probably stand pat offensively. We're just gonna get the defensive guys we needed. We're still gonna go after Alex Pietrangelo, see if we could go ahead and get him. But he wants 2.925. He's got 0 teams interested. We're gonna give it a little bit of time before we offer him. Let him mule over some offers during that time, and then we're just going to advance to see what happens with our defensive prospect, Renzel, that we just actually offered on. I'm going to decline this trade, not worth it. So let's see if they match the offer. So your offer sheet has been resolved. They're not matching the offer, so we'll get him. So Renzel comes aboard. We got Pietrangelo, who's getting actually some interest now. So let's go out and try to get him. We're gonna have to offer him some money. Do a full no movement clause. 3,275 for 1 year. He'll be a veteran on this team, and he accepts immediately. So he doesn't even mule over any more offers. He accepts that. So that's going to change our lines right now. So our lines are going to get updated real quick, and then we'll pick it back up. So with our lines updated, now we have 2 more questions. Who's going to play 4th line center? Are we going to stick with Harrison, or are we going to bring somebody in? We do have 14 million in cap space. We also need a right winger on that line. So let's do some homework. Let's see who would be the best option for that center position when it comes to the 4th line and that right wing position that we have open. So immediately somebody that stands out is Ryan O'Reilly. Taking a look at some of the stats that he has, he averages a 52% on faceoffs. He has 28 hits, 15 block shots, 46 giveaways, and 85 takeaways. So definitely making a difference defensively. Another veteran presence I think would be perfect for this team. So let's go ahead and offer Ryan O'Reilly. He wants a 2-year deal for $950K, which we're totally cool with. We also got Goudreau, Barclay Goudreau, I believe it was. I think that was his first name. Now we got to decide who's going to be the right winger on that line. And we found kind of a steal here. 80 games played, 31 points, a +4, 12 penalty minutes, 132 shots. He also had 49 takeaways, 30 giveaways, 10 block shots, and 37 hits. And Fabian Zetterlund, who is a right winger, he does want 2.925 for 1 year, which is cool for 1 year. So we're going to go ahead and offer him as well, just in case one of the other guys don't pan out. So with that being said, we are full at this point. I don't think we need any other signings. We are at 47 of 50. We got the extra defenseman, I think, on both the NHL and AHL. Trying to think if there's anything else we need. Maybe another forward to put in that bottom right on that right wing on that AHL side. Maybe a Kyle Palmieri would actually be a good fit there, not in the NHL but in the AHL. You also got Tyler Seguin, who we could actually put in the AHL. He in the AHL had a pretty decent season with 46 points in 70 games. Kind of a veteran, would come back to Boston, but we're gonna pass on that. You got Yamamoto, who is somebody that played in the NHL, had 24 points in a full season. You got Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who had a 45-point season in the AHL, so a pretty decent season there. Any other good offers or decent little players? Texier as a first line right winger in the AHL. He did have a decent season in the NHL. Just need one more. We got Kasperi Kapanen, who is a pretty decent two-way type of guy. He could play in the AHL and kind of go up and down for us when it comes to being called up and sent down. Lonen, who's got the one-timer and magnetic. He had 26 points in the AHL, not really a top line type of talent. You got Justin Brazeau, who we could bring back, who we know could go up and down as well. Pustonen, Valtteri Pustonen, who's a playmaker. Do we have any? We could do Kyle Palmieri, but he's a little expensive. Anthony Mantha. You got Bemstrom, who's a sniper, I believe. He's right-handed. He could play in that first line AHL. So he's an option. If Evgeny Malkin's out there, 41 years old, still kicking the tires, still trying his best. You got Lavoie, Yankruk, Rasmussen, Anderson. Trying to look for a decent right. Bergen, he's also a sniper, 27 years old. He had 29 points in 77 games. What did the other right winger Bemstrom have? 28 points in 82 games. Was that in the N or the A? That was in the end. Well, let's actually bring him aboard. What does he want? 1.075. Do a two-way. Doesn't want 2 years, I could tell you that. Not really interested right now. So we're gonna sim ahead a little bit and then see if he ends up interested. So after we simmed ahead a few days, our best option right now is going to be Sampo Ranta, who had a pretty decent season in a AHL, 18 goals, 25 assists for 43 points. So we're going to go ahead and offer him. He'll be a better answer, it looks like, at right wing. Even though he's left-handed, I kind of don't like the left-handed part. Yolonen, I just realized he was left-handed. How about Chibrikov is also left-handed. We prefer a right-handed top line right wing. Could always go with Denisenko again. He was okay. You know what? I think Denisenko is the answer. So let's offer Denisenko. He's the best option we have. So bring him back. He'll play that first line right wing in the AHL. So that will do it for the lines. I didn't update the NHL lines, but we did get a few veterans I think will help this team defensively. We could also go after Travis Van Riemsdyk. I mean, Trevor Van Riemsdyk. He was actually really good defensively. He'll be a decent little addition. So let's go ahead and offer him 800K for two-way, and that's perfect. So now it's time to sim to next season. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to complete the draft and free agency. We'll talk about the lines real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. See what the goals will be. I don't like to look this early because sometimes they change. I want 39 sellouts. I want us to finish first in our division. I think we are a team that can compete, and I want us to win 52 games this season. No stretch goal this time. So we are... I think all our captains are the same. Yeah, Elias, David, and McAvoy. So our lines are gonna look like, based on what the coach has, Kustadinov, Zaka, Patras. You're gonna have Pasternak, Lindholm, Ehlers. You're gonna have Mitten, Letourneau, and Hjermison. But that's gonna change because Hjermison's not gonna be in the NHL. I mean, we could put him in the NHL. He is a sniper, but a sniper is not really gonna fit that. He's not going to fit that second line. Walensky, I think, is also a sniper. Nope, he's a playmaker. So, pretty good passing. Who do we have on the bench? We have Zetterlund and Thomas. So, let's go ahead and do the roster moves of what it's going to look like. So, in the NHL, I want to make sure we have Hjermison down in the A. Going to put him down there. Zetterlund's probably going to stay. Walensky's going to stay in the system. Robertson's gonna stay. Want to bring up Ryan O'Reilly, and we could bring up Brett Harrison right now, or that might give us too many skaters, to be honest. Let's do without Brett Harrison, just Ryan O'Reilly. So that actually brings us down to not enough skaters. So let's bring up Harrison as well. So we got Goodrow, Barclay Goodrow out there, Zetterlund. Defensively, we got Boumadine, Vilchinski, and Lindholm. They got Renzo, Pietrangelo. So that would actually mean we need to bring up Van Riemsdyk, and somebody would have to go down out of the offensive players. Probably be Harrison. No, we'll kill Thomas. We wanted to kill Thomas down in the A. Ooh, that would fix everything. Yeah, we wanted. Yeah, I think everything's all set now. So that being said, the lines would end up looking like Ehlers, Lindholm, Pasta, the same first line from last season. You got Patras, Zaka, and Kusnadinov. You got Mitten, Laterno, and Walensky. You got Zetterlund, Gaudreau, and Enstrom. And defensively, you're gonna look like this: Lindholm, McAvoy, Renzel, and Boumadine, Vilchinski, and Pietrangelo. I'm probably going to change this around. Lindholm will probably drop to number 2, Boumadine to number 3, and Vilchinski up to number 1. And I think if Renzel's actually a offensive defenseman, I don't like the combination of 2 offensive defensemen on one line. So we'll have to work on that. And then in net, as always, you're going to have Jeremy Swayman and David Riddick. So that is the lines right now. We're obviously going to change some things when we go into preseason. We want to get some rookies, some numbers. We do got to carry at least 8 veterans going into preseason, but that will be a thing for next episode. But that's going to do it for us today. If you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm your boy Is Nefarious, and I'm out of here.